Down my back.
All counselors are present. I decided from not in the pit. Under newly hired or promoted employees, I'd like to introduce Lynn Capel to you. She's a familiar face down in the clerk treasurer's office. She's been promoted from the collection clerk to assistant treasurer. Lynn comes to us, she's been with us about 5 years now, right? And has about 25 plus years in the treasury, and so she's filling that role quite quickly. So welcome and thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
And under 3B, we have a proclamation declaring Wednesday, June 19th, 2019 as Juneteenth Day.
Can I get the elite ladies to come down here?
Get a photo.
We have an official proclamation recognizing Juneteenth, and it reads, whereas President Lincoln issued an Emancipation Proclamation freeing all slaves on January 1st, 1863, and whereas on June 19th, 1865, Major General Robert Granger gained control of Galveston, Texas for the Union, whereupon he proclaimed that all slaves in the state were free, and whereas the anniversary of June 19th has become known as Juneteenth, a day celebrating freedom from slavery and recognizing the African American story of resilience and perseverance. And whereas committed and concerned residents are dedicated to bringing our community together in yearly celebration of the proclamation that all people are free. Now, therefore, the City Council President of the City of Beloit does hereby proclaim Wednesday, June 19th, 2019 as Juneteenth Day in the City of Beloit, encouraging residents to celebrate freedom and honor the end of slavery and emancipation at the Elite Ladies of Beloit and YWCA Rock County sponsored Juneteenth celebration at Telfer Park on June 22nd, 2019. Adopted this 17th day of June, 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you, Council Member Clint Anderson. On behalf of the Elite Ladies of Beloit and the YWCA Rock County, we accept this proclamation for our Juneteenth celebration on June 22nd from noon till 9 p.m. at Telfer Park. The recognition of Juneteenth is significant because freedom must be celebrated. We join many communities around the country who celebrate this day of freedom. Thank you, Lori Luther, and the entire City Council staff for your amazing support. We want the community to know that your partnership has been incredible. Once again, we say thank you.
Thank you. And we would like to say Did anybody else want to say anything? Okay. On behalf of our city council, we're so grateful for all your efforts and for what you're doing, and we also appreciate that you're bringing Juneteenth back, and it's making our community even better, so thank you very much. Okay.
Under item 4A, public hearing, consideration of ordinance 3647 to change the future land use map of the comprehensive plan from two-family townhouse residential to planned mixed use for the property located at 2426 Prairie Avenue. This is first reading.
And our Community Development Director, Julie Christensen, has a presentation.
Erin Nielsen of Orem Contracting has submitted an application to amend the future land use map from two-family townhouse residential to planned mixed use for the property located at 2426 Prairie Avenue. He has already purchased the property, and he's proposing to use existing building for a home improvement contractor business, which is currently located at Park and Elmwood in the town of Beloit, with additional tenant office space, mechanic shop, outdoor storage, and in the future duplexes. I think it's on Virginia. The requested planned mixed-use future land use designation would allow multiple land uses on one property. And he has also applied for a planned unit development master land use plan and planned unit development zoning, which is already being considered by Plan Commission and will be, that you will see on your next agenda on July 1st. This is the public hearing only. And if approved, this would only amend the future land use plan. As I said, the PUD would come forward at a later meeting. But Plan Commission did review this item on May 8th, 2019, and voted 7-0 to recommend approval of the comprehensive plan amendment.
Thank you, Julie. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the change to the future land use map please come forward? Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the change to the future land use map please come forward? Final call. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the change to the future land use map please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward? Final call. Would anyone opposed to change the future land use map please come forward? The public hearing is now closed. Can I have a motion to lay this over for a second reading?
I so move.
There's a first. Is there a second? Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4B. Item 4B is consideration of Resolution 2019-73, authorizing a planned unit development master land use plan amendment for the property located at 2851 Milwaukee Road.
Before you begin, if I may, while the elite ladies are welcome to stay for the entirety of our meeting, and you obviously are, if you have other things to do this evening, we also completely understand. So,
Sorry.
as much as you may want to stay.
Yeah. And thank you again. Have a good evening, ladies.
Got a lot to get done.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Now we have a presentation from our Community Development Director, Julie Christensen.
Cave Enterprises Operations LLC has submitted this application for review and consideration of a PUD master land use plan for the development of the southeastern portion of 2851 Milwaukee Road for a Burger King restaurant. And the original PUD for this property was approved in 2005, which proposed a development of Menards and then a future development site on the southeastern portion of the site. At that time, the zoning was changed from C3 community commercial to PUD planned unit development. And then there was an amendment to that for warehousing on Menards parcel. So this amendment to the PUD is for the construction of a Burger King drive-through restaurant. The proposed building is 1 story in height. The proposed exterior walls are brick and fiber cement panels in 2 different colors, as shown on the rendering in the packet. The restaurant front will face east towards Freeman Parkway and will include an aluminum storefront, door/window system, and a cedar panel entry feature with signage. The applicant has also submitted a 1-lot CSM to create a standalone lot for the development, which was approved at the last Plan Commission meeting. This was reviewed by Plan Commission on June 5th, 2019, and they did recommend approval. subject to the 9 conditions, which I'll list in a moment. But they did add one additional condition, which was to require a stop sign on private property where the site meets Freeman Parkway. There was a bit of discussion at the Plan Commission meeting about that there's a lot of traffic that backs up by Pilot on Freeman Parkway. The city engineer graciously came and was there to answer questions on what would happen with the I-90 improvements, how that would affect the intersection. I think there was concern from a resident that you've got traffic that kind of flies through Menards, and then they may not even stop at Freeman, and if there was a stop sign placed there, that would be very helpful in terms of kind of controlling traffic. This drive-through will function coming off of the Menards kind of bypass road, and so the traffic isn't intending to have the drive-through dump out on Freeman. And the thought process is that when they come out of that driveway on the Menards parcel, if they see traffic backed up on Freeman, they will head to Brannigan, where there's generally not as much traffic. And so I think the engineering staff did not feel that this would be a problem, that this will not dump extra traffic on Freeman. And they agreed that the stop sign would assist with kind of drivers, kind of cautioning them to not just kind of jump out on Freeman. So they did ultimately recommend approval, subject to the conditions which are listed in the resolution, which are that this approval authorizes the following land uses: C3 Community Commercial District uses and a drive-through use. A separate conditional use permit is not required for the proposed drive-through use. A certified survey map must be recorded, creating a standalone lot for the new development prior to permits being issued. This approval authorizes the development of the new lot with a 3,249 square foot restaurant, off-street parking lot, and numerous site improvements. Only one primary building may be constructed with a maximum coverage of 5,000 square feet. The minimum building setbacks shall be 30 feet on all sides, and the maximum height shall be 1 story. Parking capacities must comply with retail, sales, and service entertainment-oriented code requirements of 1 parking stall per 150 square feet of building area. Off-street stacking spaces must comply with the restaurant drive-through requirements. 5 stacking spaces from order box and 3 between order box and pickup window. This PUD amendment may have 1 primary sign up to 50 feet in height and 150 square feet in area, and up to 5 secondary wall signs totaling no more than 200 square feet for all signs combined. The sign ordinance doesn't have sign allowances for PUD, so it must be done through this resolution. Prior to issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall obtain site plan and architectural approval, which shall include a detailed review of all site, grading, utility, landscape, and lighting plans. A stormwater maintenance agreement must be entered into with the city and recorded with Rock County. A stop sign must be installed on private property where the site meets Freeman Parkway. Conditions from previous PUD approvals remain applicable, and then just our standard condition about major changes coming back through this public process or minor changes being able to be approved administratively. And the Burger King developer came to the meeting and was fine with the stop sign that was recommended by plan.
Thank you, Julie. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Final call. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward? Final call. Would anyone opposed please come forward? The public hearing is now closed. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution,
I
please?
so move.
We have a first. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries.
Item 4C is a public hearing on a substantial amendment to the 2019 Annual Action Plan and Community Development Block Grant Budget.
Community Development Director Christensen will present again.
On November 5th, 2018, you all approved the annual action plan and budget for the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program. We received a notification from HUD that we will receive $60,719 more in Community Development Block Grant funds. And then we also have additional program income that has come in through the Economic Development program and the housing rehab loan program more than we anticipated. And we also have prior year unspent CDBG funding that must be reprogrammed because HUD requires a certain amount of money to be spent by November 1st of each year. If the budget changes by more than 10%, we're required to come back through this public process. So that is what we're doing tonight. It went to CDA on May 22nd. They recommended approval. And then we began the 30-day public review, which will end on June 30th. The tables in the staff report show the amount that was originally budgeted, and then actually what we have. And although it says 2018-19 program income, that's 2018-19 unspent funds and program income. And then we're proposing to allocate $276,495 of the funds to continue the neighborhood revitalization strategy area activities, to the following activities: $4,000 each for Merrill and Hackett neighborhood cleanup activities, an additional $50,000 for community action for the resources navigator, $85,000 for Merrill Community Center improvements, and then $133,495 for Summit Park splash pad. We're also proposing to allocate an additional $5,000 to fair housing related activities and $26,624 to program administration to assist with staff costs used to administer the additional funding and manage the additional programs. All the changes will then be incorporated into the annual action plan narrative. There was the document in your packet tonight, and then we will, based on what comes out of this, we'll add that narrative to the plan and then submit to HUD. On your agenda tonight is just the public hearing. This will be on your agenda for action at your next meeting on July 1st. So this is just the opportunity for the public to comment on what we have proposed.
Thank you very much. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward at this time? Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Final call. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward at this time? Would anyone opposed please come forward? Final call. Would anyone opposed please come forward? The public hearing is now closed. Can I have a motion to approve the substantial amendment, please?
No action is necessary.
Oh, it's not necessary. Okay. So with that said, we'll go to
4D.
Okay.
We have a public hearing to solicit input on the community development, housing, and homeless needs in the city of Beloit for inclusion in the 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan Neighborhood Revitalization Strategy Area known as the NARSA and the 2020 Annual Action Plan.
Community Development Director Christensen will present.
So this is the time that we we start working through the process for the 2020-2024, the 5-year plan for the community development block grant funding. Your last agenda item was about an amendment to the 2019 annual plan. Well, what we're doing this year is the 5-year plan, and then we'll have an annual plan, the 2020 annual plan, and then we will also do an update to the neighborhood revitalization strategy area plan that you adopted a couple of years ago. We're required to have 2 public hearings as we're developing the plan. We actually held one on April 1st, 2019, before this body. And then we've also been having steering committee meetings and other opportunities for public input. And so this is the second public hearing before the plan is developed. Then you'll have another public hearing when you actually get the budget and the final plan document. So this is the night for the community to come out and just to share any needs that they've identified under community development, housing, and homelessness, which will then be incorporated into the plan as it is developed.
Thank you, Julie. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to provide input please come forward at this time? Would anyone wishing to provide input please come forward? Final call. Would anyone wishing to provide input please come forward? The public hearing is now closed. There is no action on this item.
Item 4E is consideration of Resolution 2019-86, a final resolution authorizing sanitary sewer system improvements and levying special assessments and hookup fees against benefited properties on Frobel Drive in Beloit.
And we will have a presentation from our Public Works Director, Laura Williamson.
Good evening. You have before you a request from a property owner along Frobel Street that had requested to have sanitary sewer extended and also annexed to the city. This council has already authorized that annexation, so this is the final piece to actually extend the sewer to this homeowner. As a part of that, a portion of the sewer extension will actually be in front of a number of other properties that will have the opportunity also to connect to the sanitary sewer. Some of those properties are outside of the city. This outlines what the mechanism is for the assessment process for those properties, both inside and outside of the city.
Thank you. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Final call. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor please come forward? Would any opposed please come forward? Would anyone opposed please come forward at this time? Final call. Would anyone opposed please come forward? The public hearing is now closed. Now, can I have a motion to approve the resolution? There is a first and second. So it was first by Councilor Pritchell, second by Councilor Levy. Any discussion?
One comment.
Go ahead,
I
Councilor.
have to address my friend on Frobel. Gary, if you're watching, you are no longer the only City of Beloit resident on Frobel Drive. Just thought you, congratulations, it took 25 years. And enjoy your newfound, or you're losing your uniqueness.
Thank you. So we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries. Now, public comments. We have reached the point in the agenda for residents to speak to the council about issues that are coming before us or may come before us in the future. Council members may not act on any request at this meeting, but may refer speaker to staff for assistance. We ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes or less and refrain from personal attacks of any kind. Public comment is a privilege, and we expect everyone to conduct themselves in a civil manner. Speakers are asked to complete a public comment form and turn it in prior to our meeting. Each individual will be invited to the podium and asked to state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone that would like to speak at this time? Please come to the podium. With no one wishing to address the council at this time, we will go on to item 6, consent agenda.
All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which the item will be removed from the agenda and taken up as a special order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
The consent agenda consists of items 6A through 6G. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I so move.
There's a first by Blakely, and there was a second by Forbeck, was it? Okay. Everybody's chiming in. So we have a first by Blakely, it was seconded by Forbeck. Any discussion at all? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Under item 7A, it's consideration of Resolution 2019-83 for approval denial of applicants for the alcohol beverage operators and bartenders license for 2019-2021. You have before you 175 applicants for approval. As you know, these are all expiring June 30th, so everybody's in a rush. The police department worked really hard to get these 175 to you. There's one denial. The time for an appeal has passed, and so you have 176 total before you.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve item 7A, please? Okay, Prushel. Levy. Okay, I have a first by Councilor Prushel, a second by Councilor Levy. Any discussion at this time? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Under 7B, it's consideration of Resolution 2019-68, approving late renewals for alcohol beverage licenses for the license period July 1, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. The Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee recommended approval of these late licenses. As you know, at the last meeting, I brought you the bulk of everyone. There's now, what you have really in there is 3 late applications and 2 change of agents that came before the ABLCC. So you'll have a total of 5 there on this approval.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve item 7B, please?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Minute. Okay. I have a first by Counselor Anderson, a second by Counselor Jacobson. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries.
Under ordinances this evening, item 8A is consideration of ordinance 3651 to amend certain sections of the Index of Special Locations, Section 1302 of the Code of General Ordinances for the City of Beloit to remove parking restrictions related to the Colac Educational Center, property located at 1633 Keeler Avenue.
This is a second reading. Can I have a motion to approve item 8A, please? Okay, Prushel and Forbeck. So we have a first by Counselor Prushel, a second by Counselor Forbeck. Any discussion?
Yes, I just want to say,
Go ahead, Counselor Forbeck.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I wanted to compliment the bureaucracy we have here in the city. I mean, I think this is really appropriate and timely. This is probably really going to be welcomed in the neighborhood. They're going to be able to really ease the parking there. So I like this, that nobody had to say, for heaven's sakes, nobody's even using that building anymore. So compliments to this.
Okay. Any other counselors have any comments at this time? Okay, so if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8B is consideration of ordinance number 3653 to amend sections 8.18 sub 2, 9.28 sub 1, 26.01 sub 1E, 30.05 sub 4, 32.06 sub 3, and 3407 to create section 10.04 sub 3 of the Code of General Ordinances pertaining to permit fee waivers for certain public works contracts and other contracts issued by governmental organizations. This is first reading with a request to suspend the rules.
Okay, Community Development Director Christensen has a report for us tonight.
This proposed ordinance would waive the fees for permits obtained under the building, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, sign, historic preservation, or architecture review ordinances for projects done in connection with a public works contract or other contract issued by the City of Beloit, Rock County, State of Wisconsin, or the United States. Permits would still be required to be obtained by these entities, and inspections will still be performed on these projects. This just relates to waiving of the fees, so I guess we're not moving money from one fund to another from the governmental entities.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Okay, so we'll have Blakely and Prushel. Okay, so we have a first by Counselor Blakely, a second by Counselor Prushel. Any discussion at this time? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries. Now, can I have a motion to approve item 8B, please?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first by Counselor Anderson, a second by Counselor Prushel. Any discussion?
I just,
Go ahead, Counselor Prushel.
I just want to point out that we are still, the permits are still being filed, we're just waiving the fees.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a first and a second on the floor, so if all are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries.
Item 8C is consideration of ordinance number 3655 to create section 1802 sub 4 sub G of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to animals in parks and temporary fences. This is first reading with a request to suspend the rules.
Okay, we'll have our Public Works Director, Laura Williamson, come forward, please.
Good evening. This request is brought before you to allow temporary fencing in the event we are going to have animals in the parks on a temporary basis. This would authorize our Parks Director and give him the authority to work with our applicants and our citizens for these temporary conditions, and this would be a change to the codes.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, we have a first by Counselor Jacobson, a second by Counselor Levy. Any discussion at this time? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, can I have a motion to approve item 8C, please? Is there a first? Okay, Jacobson and Anderson. So we have a first by Counselor Jacobson, a second by Counselor Anderson. Any discussion at this time? Any discussion? Okay. So if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8D is consideration of ordinance number 3654 to amend section 1.88 sub 7 sub A of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to the regular meeting time for the Police and Fire Commission. This is first reading.
Okay, can I have a motion to lay this over for a second reading, please?
So moved.
Okay, so have a first by Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Blakely. We have a first by Counselor Anderson, a motion by Counselor Anderson, I'm sorry, a second by Blakely. Counselor Blakely, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8E is consideration of ordinance number 3652 to amend sections 1.85 sub 2A, 1.85
Madam
sub
Clerk,
3C.
I'm sorry, I just need to clarify, we had a motion to suspend the rules on the last item, and then,
To lay it over.
to lay it over?
For the second
Okay.
reading.
Sorry, I just got thrown off by not
I
getting
know,
your
we were
report.
suspending and
Mistake.
voting, and then it, yeah. But we were late just to, yeah, we laid over to the next meeting. Did you need the request?
No, I was just, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay,
I
okay.
apologize for
All
the
right.
interruption.
That's okay.
Okay.
Ordinance number 3652 to amend sections 1.85 sub 2A, 1.85 sub 3C, and 1.85 sub 4A in the Code of General Ordinances in the City of Beloit pertaining to the school district appointees to the library board. This is first reading.
Can I have a motion to lay this over for a second reading, please?
I so move.
Okay. Is there a second? We have a motion by Counselor Forbeck.
Second.
Okay, Anderson. Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Forbeck. We have a second by Counselor Anderson. Is there any discussion at this time?
Madam President, not so much of a discussion, but I think on this item, if we could get some background as to why we're doing this from the city attorney, for the public that may be viewing and people in the audience, I would appreciate that. I know there's a motion and a second on the floor, but if we can get a little background information on it before we vote on it, I would greatly appreciate it.
Attorney Crew.
Sure. This matter is before you. Currently, the library board appointees from the school district are done by stating that the school district administrator be appointed to the library board. The library has requested that also include the elected officials of the school board. So we have added those officials and just made it either the administrator or the elected official to those boards.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that said, motion carries.
Item 9 is appointments, and the individuals about to be named will be approved by one motion. Unless you want to take them separately, then please speak up to the president. This evening, we have 2 boards with several appointments. On the Equal Opportunities Commission, we have Justin Leroy Allen Mitchell to a term expiring June 30th, 2022, and incumbent Steve Holland and incumbent John Mahorko Jr., both to a term ending June 30th, 2022. And then to the Municipal Library Board, we have incumbent Angela Moore for a term ending June 30th, 2022.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the appointments, please?
I so move.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion by Forbeck, and we have a second by Counselor Levy. Any discussion at this time?
Yes, Madam President.
Go ahead, Counselor.
I just wanted to thank the people who are volunteering to serve on our commissions and boards. I happen to have met Justin Leroy Allen Mitchell not long ago, and I especially want to thank him for his enthusiasm and intelligence and concern for the community to come forward and join people like incumbent Steve Holland and John Mahorko, and incumbent Angela Moore to the Municipal Library Board. Oh my goodness, such quality people. Thank you all very much.
Is there any other further discussion? Go ahead.
Did you want to
Council
announce the vacancies that are available on other boards and commissions?
I
Can you
could
do that
list
right
them
now?
if you would like me to.
I would like for you to do that.
Okay, we have one vacancy to the Tavern League, for a Tavern League rep on the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee. That's been a long-standing vacancy. One vacancy for a school board representative that will be appointed by the school board. On the Board of Appeals, we have 3 vacancies for citizens, 1 vacancy for a first alternate, and 1 vacancy for a second alternate. On the Board of Ethics, we have 1 vacancy for a citizen. On the Board of Review, we have 1 vacancy for citizen member and 2 vacancies for alternates. Under Community Development Authority, we have 1 vacancy for a citizen member. Equal Opportunities Commission, 1 vacancy for a citizen member. The Municipal Golf Committee, 1 vacancy for a youth representative and 1 vacancy for a seniors club rep. The Municipal Library Board has 2 vacancies for citizen members, 1 vacancy for school district representative. And Park, Recreation, and Conservation Advisory Commission, 1 vacancy for youth, 1 vacancy for school district rep.
Okay, thank you. And I'm hoping that with the coming year, we'll get more students involved, so we can have we have a couple youth vacancies, so hopefully we'll get those filled. Okay, so we have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion from any other counselors? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Counselor activities.
Okay, we'll start with Counselor Pritchell, please.
Okay. Well, this Thursday coming up is What the Tech at Grinnell Hall. I'll be there doing our monthly tech session for people with tech questions. That's from 1 to 3 at Grinnell Hall. And the school district today announced that Dr. Monroe will meet the public on June 27th from 5 to 6:30 at the Colac Center. They announced that today. So your chance to meet the new superintendent is coming up then. And then on Tuesday I will facilitate a session of cameras at the Confluence, at the Nature at the Confluence. We do that once a month during the season. And this month's theme, it's always thematic because fireworks season is coming up, and the fireworks are going off in July, and lots of opportunities for night shooting because of late nights and stays nice out. So we're emphasizing fireworks and night photography this year with a gentleman from Rockford will be Jeffrey, I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he'll be there doing that presentation, and hopefully it's weather's nice and we'll go out for a little walk around the grounds afterwards. So that's coming up this next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Counselor Jacobson.
Well, the weather's not participating very well. I saw that the big pool and the lagoon closed on Sunday because it was cold. And I went to Music at Harry's on Friday, which was nice, even though it did sprinkle a little bit. So thank you, everyone that held out through the rain, and hopefully we'll have better weather through the rest of the season. That's all I have.
Thank you. Counselor Blakely.
Yes, not too long ago, I think some of you will remember, we had quite a few youth come to the council during public comments, and some of their parents. There was a young Mr. Forbeck among the group, speaking out on behalf of making Beloit a greener city, a more ecologically, what's the word I want? Can you think of the word I want?
Economically
conscientious city. So I just wanted to put in a good word for everybody keeping that in mind. My sister from Colorado, who was visiting that night, Karen Richards, my twin, suggested that we counselors start trading in our plastic bottles of water for more permanent water bottles. So I'm going to see if I can find a sale on those, because I don't have one with me tonight, but I hope to have one. I thought that was a great idea. Also, I've started plogging, P as in Paul, Logging, around the city. Oh, and I wanted to mention that one of our ladies over here, one of our visitors, spoke up at the last meeting too to encourage us to make Beloit a greener place. It's always great to have people involved in that concept. So I have started plogging, which simply means I carry a plastic bag with me when I go out for a walk. Mine is more of a walk than a jog, but it still counts. I understand from the plogging professionals. So I'd like to encourage everybody to do it. You know, as we used to say, every little bit helps, and it's really true. I wanted to put in a good word for the Beloit Airport. There's a company there called Skydive the Rock, which offers skydiving. But they told me today that you do not have to be waiting to skydive in order to go out there and just watch or photograph the people who do decide to jump out of the perfectly good airplanes. They open at 10 in the morning, and most of their jumps take place in the afternoon before dusk. So it's a great place to take the family just for something extra to do that doesn't require a huge amount of effort, because you don't have to jump out of the airplane. You can just watch. And next week starts the phase 2 of reconstruction on Prairie Avenue. It starts a week from tomorrow, I believe. So I just want to encourage everybody just to be patient, take it a little slower than usual out in that direction, and also make sure that you keep visiting the businesses on Prairie Avenue who will have just a little more of a challenge with their people getting in and out safely. So keep them in mind. On the table up there toward the back or the front, depending on your point of view, I brought in a few bike maps of the area brought to you by Visit Beloit. So if anybody wants one or all that are left, you're welcome to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Blakely. Councilor Levy? You have nothing? I have nothing. Oh, okay. Wow. Councilor Forbeck?
Yes, I just wanted to say that, of course, I've been attending the farmers market, which just remains superb. And this coming June 22nd, I just wanted to talk about the 2 events that are going to be going on. How cool is this? There's going to be the Walter Knight signage reveal for the bridge that we are appropriately naming after Walter Knight. And then that same day, there's going to be Juneteenth. So the 22nd is going to be pretty busy. That's all.
Okay. Vice President Anderson?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that. Obviously, the bridge dedication is amazing. It's well-deserved. And then I also wanted to give a shout-out to the Elite Ladies and Angela from the YWCA. They've, if any of you have seen behind the scenes, they've been working endlessly. I'm very impressed with how much effort they put into this, and it's great that we're having more events that are culturally diverse in Beloit, because that's reflective of our community. So I really wanted to give them a shout out and say that we really appreciate all the work they've been doing for the community, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Vice President Anderson. I just have a couple things just to touch on. First, I want to say that I had a chance to attend the Back to Beloit event on Friday night, along with our city manager. And our city manager, Lori Luther, did a wonderful job. We also had other speakers there. But I just want to mention something that I was not told about, and none of us knew about this, but there was someone that received a very special award. He received the Reverend Joseph E. Gaylor Humanitarian Award. So I was very surprised by that. I was like, we did not know that. So we commend you, Kevin, for your service. Councilor Levy received that award. So it was a very high recognition, and I just want to say that I enjoyed it. But it would have been nice, because we all certainly would have been there in full force with you if we had known you were going to receive that prestigious award. So congratulations.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah. And he received it along with the Beloit Women's Culture Club and the NAACP. So special thanks to the whole Back to Beloit planning committee. They did a fantastic job on putting that together. I also want to take a moment, and this is something I would like to do as the council president, is also to recognize people that have given service to our city. We have people coming and going, we have new people coming in, and we certainly recognize those. But I would like to also recognize those individuals that have given time and service to the city of Beloit who currently work here on our staff. And I just want to mention that Leslie was here earlier this afternoon. Leslie Bridges was recognized, and I hate I missed the ceremony, but she had people were congratulating, I guess not a ceremony, but we're congratulating her for her 30 years of service to the city of Beloit. And I know they said that she's like the housing inspector, but I guess she worked her way up the ranks. So I just think it's wonderful when we have people, and I believe that Leslie is a native of Beloit, people that live here, work here, and they come back and give so much to our community. So I just want to say a special thank you to Leslie and to all the staff that work hard every day. And last but not least, I would like to echo what Councilor Blakely said about being safe and driving carefully with all the road construction going on. I know, and for me, it gets really frustrating, especially when you're in a hurry, so it's better to just plan ahead and just drive slowly and carefully. And so with that said, we'll go to our city manager's presentations. There is none this evening, and so we will go on to item 12A.
Consideration of Resolution 2019-78 approving the City of Beloit Sewer Utility Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Compliance Maintenance Report.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to present the 2018 Compliance Maintenance Annual Report for the Beloit Wastewater Treatment Facility. Chapter NR208 of the Wisconsin Administrative Code requires publicly owned treatment works to operate their wastewater treatment facilities effectively. Each year, the Compliance Maintenance Annual Report must be completed, presented to Council, and submitted to DNR to demonstrate the effective operation of the facility. 2018 was the 6th consecutive year of a 4.0 rating. The 4.0 score means we had 0 discharge limit violations and met all DNR requirements for management, financial, operational, and maintenance activities. This perfect score reflects the hard work and dedication of the wastewater staff. This includes the operators, maintenance, collection, and pretreatment program staff. In addition to our staff, we also have partners with the significant industrial users. For their effort needs to be commended as well. The treatment plant is now nearly 28 years old with a lot of original equipment, and to ensure that we can continue to get these good scores, we are conducting a comprehensive facility plan for the wastewater treatment plant. That should be done later this year, and it'll help us prioritize any upgrades and just general maintenance.
Thank you. And just for those audience members who are watching, just to say that Bill Frisbee is our Director of Water Resources. So thank you, Bill, for that presentation. Well done. So with that said, can I have a motion to approve the resolution, please?
So moved.
Okay. Blakely, okay. And then Prushel. Okay, we have a first by Councilor Blakely, a second by Councilor Prushel. Any discussion at this time?
One comment.
Go ahead, Councilor Jacobson.
Thank you for that report, Bill. I am happy to hear we got a perfect score. I mean, that's what I heard. I tried to read through this, but maybe my chemistry is a little rough around the edges. But, I think we overlook our water resources a lot, and so it's important for our residents to know that they're doing well. So, thank you.
Well said. Okay.
Under item,
We have a motion, we have a first and a second. So with that said, if all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Item 12B is consideration of Resolution 2019-87 approving a cooperative agreement between the City of Beloit and the Ho-Chunk Nation for Colley Road and Willowbrook Road Build Grant Project.
City Manager Luther.
The City of Beloit and the Ho-Chunk Nation intend to jointly apply for a build grant for the capacity expansion of Colley Road and Willowbrook Road. The permission to apply for that grant would be coming forward in July 1st. However, prior to that time, the Ho-Chunk Nation has brought forth this cooperative agreement that provides a mechanism for them to participate with the city for the local funding requirements of these improvements, and that's through the use of their tribal transportation program funds. In summary, although this is not an extensive description of the improvements that we anticipate applying for the build grant to complete, Colley Road would be improved from Willowbrook Road to Gateway Boulevard to a 4-lane urban section, and Willowbrook Road would be improved to a 4-lane urban section from State Line Road to Milwaukee Road. This agreement allows for $2.4 million of Tribal Transportation Program funding to serve as local match for this build grant application. That application is due no later than July 15th, and our intent again is to bring back the application, permission to apply, and any other documents that are required prior to submitting that on July 1st. This, however, does put us in a position of being able to use funds from the nation rather than city dollars to provide that match, of which we are very grateful. This is in addition to the $2 million that the nation is required to provide as a down payment for infrastructure improvements once when and if the proposal is approved by the Bureau and ultimately the governor. So this would go into effect upon final approval of the project and receipt of the federal grant. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Can I please have a motion to approve the resolution?
I so move.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilor Forbeck. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Levy. Any discussion? Was that Levy or
That was
Jacobson? I'm sorry. Let's.
Have it.
So we have a first by Councilor Forbeck, a second by Councilor Jacobson. Any discussion at this time? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now can I have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Oh, yes.
So we have a motion by Prussia, second by Forbeck. And with that said,
Want to take a vote?
yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now adjourned. It's been a long night. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
I didn't. I was on a roll.